Welcome to the Blessed by Angels podcast. In this message, I'm going to be sharing with you welcoming and celebrating growth. Welcome to the Blessed by Angels podcast. My name is Jen Gilbreth. Ever since I was a little girl, I have felt deeply connected to the angelic realm. Over the years, I have dedicated my time and energy towards delivering messages from beyond. Yes, that's right. I talk to dead people, although I don't necessarily consider them dead. In many ways, they are much more alive than us in this physical realm. On this podcast, I will be channeling messages from Spirit. Whether you tune in each week for the new messages or feel like picking a message at random, this podcast is designed for Spirit to lead you to the messages for you here and now. These messages have changed the way I view and play in life. I hope that these messages can do the same for you. This message came forward in such a beautiful, bold way, and it's just expanded and just grown to the next level. We as humans are here to grow. When we have a child or when we're watching children grow, it's so easy for us to encourage them. Yes, get going. You're doing such a good job. They're walking, they're sitting, they're standing, they're learning to read, they're learning their motor skills, and it's always a beautiful sense of celebration. And it also, we encourage, we cheer them on. We are like, great job, you're doing amazing. And not only that, it helps our heart expand, but it also helps their heart expand to find deep connection and deep fulfillment. And then as we get older, all of a sudden, we stop welcoming this growth where we feel maybe like, oh, I can't grow anymore, or I have to stick to the routine of life. And as adults, I mean, yes, there's so much responsibility that can really hold us back from um, feeling that sense of purpose. But it's just such a beautiful reminder that we came here to grow. We are constantly evolving and growing, and we came here to do that. The minute we stop growing is the minute it's never, because even in the spirit realm, they're continuing to grow. So celebrating growth and evolution is a part of being human. It's actually a part of being an infinite being. There's no separation. So why do we fear growth so much? Why do we fear stepping out of the box? Why do we fear switching our belief systems or switching to a new career or a new job or maybe moving to a new location? There's a lot of fear in growth, and it takes us away from actually growing and being a part of this beautiful world that we call home. When we can learn, welcome, and celebrate growth, we are activating our soul's essence, our soul's remembrance. What if we could adopt the mindset of curiosity? What if we could adopt the mindset of growth and of knowing that this life, we came here to grow. We will always be growing. It's always an aspect. But not only that, our loved ones, our guides, our angels are always there to help welcome growth. They're always there to honor and to hold space for the lessons that your soul came here to learn. And sometimes in life, it feels like they're very intense lessons. It's like, why am I learning this lesson? Why does this keep showing up? But when we can step back and look at this life as an essence of growth, it gives us a little bit more freedom to have grace and compassion for our journey. This world is difficult. There is so much density. Our soul is this beautiful being of infinite light, of source. It's very open and it can expand. And there's no limitation for our soul's growth. And then when we drop into this body, it's dense. You know, when we walk, when we sleep, when we eat, just moving, just gravity is dense. Our spirit is not used to being in this confined space. And when we give ourselves a lack of permission or when we hold ourselves back from continuing to grow, it can feel very suffocating. not only in this world, but it can feel suffocating for our soul. So this is an invitation to look at your life and to maybe reflect where you could add a little bit more loving curiosity, and to see maybe where you can step forward in honoring that growth. Maybe it's taking a class, maybe it's doing an art project, maybe it's learning a new skill. Maybe it's evolving. Maybe it's stepping out of a religion that's no longer serving you. Maybe it's writing a book. Maybe it's learning the piano when you're 45 years old. The moment we stop growing, our soul starts to suffocate. So if you're feeling heavy, if you're feeling alone, if you're feeling like there's something else you want to do, it's time to ask your soul, how can I grow? How can I fulfill my soul's magnitude of growth? Along with that, we too must remember that other people are souls as well. They are here to learn and grow and evolve just as much as you are, just as much as the children are. And if we can take time to welcome and celebrate growth for that individual, we can have deeper connections. We can have deeper soul to soul conversations when we're not too busy making somebody wrong for the growth that they are experiencing, or maybe the lack of growth that they are experiencing. Maybe they don't just quite want to do it, or they're doing their life, they're making their decisions how they want to. And the funny thing is I've had so many different people, even last week, a session where when the father passed, he was kind of like the head of the household. He was the one who kind of kept things going. He brought everyone together. He was always there for other people. He was always stepping in to help them. Oh, this is weird. I have like this, the heck? That's so interesting. As I'm speaking about this in my ankle, I just have all this, like, it almost feels like a broken ankle right now. Heck, that's so weird. Um, hmm. I don't know why that's showing up. Sometimes when I'm in the middle of stuff, things like this will appear. We'll sit into that. Oh, wow. Okay. I will. Oh, just give me a minute. I'll do that. Um, so when we can give ourselves a little bit more freedom to be honest and let other people grow as well, like give them the freedom, whether it be a child, whether it be a loved one, whether it be a friendship, everyone's evolving and growing. And sometimes they might be stuck in a pattern of array. And the best thing that we can do is to take a step back and honor their growth, honor their soul. Maybe we can have conversation, but ultimately, every soul is here to learn. They're here to grow. They came here to have their own lessons. So we can be a listening ear and support. But how can we welcome and celebrate growth for ourselves and for others? As I'm, sitting with this, literally feels like I broke my ankle. Sitting into that space as I hone in and peel back the layers, is our feet carry us. Our feet carry us to new directions, to new spaces. It's kind of like the foundation point for movement. I mean, not everybody has the ability to move with their feet. I have a grandmother who her legs were amputated from the knees down on both of her legs. But essentially, the energy of your feet and of your ankle is the support in movement. It's the support in stepping into new aspects. And if we feel stuck, or if we don't know how to move forward, or if we feel like we're stuck in this rut, in this cycle where it's like, man, I want to grow, I've been trying, but I keep holding myself back. I keep having these big blinkers show up, or I keep hitting these dead ends. It's all about strengthening the foundation first. In order for us to live the life that we want, we are here to strengthen the foundation for us to do so. Hey there, I wanted to take a brief moment to thank you so much for listening and being a part of Blessed by Angels podcast. I have found that our angelic team wants to help remind us who and why we are earthside at this present moment. The more that we remember the angelic support that we are given, the easier it is for us to live life to the fullest. So, if this message or any of the previous messages from the podcast have really stuck out to you, I would encourage you to send them to anyone who you feel could benefit from the messages. Or if you feel prompted, I would love for you to leave a review on any of the platforms that you are listening on. I would love to hear your feedback. Blessings. Are we taking care of our temporal needs? Are we taking care of our physical body? Are we taking care of our body, our mind, our soul? And how can we bring a healthy foundation so that when we move forward, we're not stepping forward on a cracked ankle or a cracked foundation? And it takes the constant energy and effort to keep moving. But it's a beautiful part of growth. And growth is consistent. It's not like all of a sudden one day you're going to be 10 feet tall. No, it takes time to grow. And so it's also an invitation to be okay and to celebrate the growth that you have accomplished up until this point. Yes, there may be a million places that you want to be, but if you're not accepting and reflecting and bringing in the joy of the growth that you are now, you're never going to find the fulfillment that you're seeking. You're going to always be outside trying to build versus feeling it in here, feeling it in your heart, in the value that you bring to yourself and nobody else. That is the true treasure of growth and acceptance and love and joy and honor, is when we can trust and see that within ourselves. Wow, that's so beautiful. And there are times where we need to reflect and to heal, like this ankle, right? If I were to just start trying to run a marathon on an ankle that feels like it's broken, there's no way I could even do that. Like physically, it's impossible for my body to do that. I mean, I'm sure people have, but like, come on, really? At times, we do have to stop and reflect and regroup and ask ourselves, what do I want to create? But not only that, what do I want to do to grow? What's my next growth stepping stone? What's the next thing that lights me up and is going to activate my soul on fire? What is that next step? And how can I be a part of that beautiful next step, that next chapter in life? What does that look like? As you take time to be still and to heal and to recenter a foundation, it's maybe even writing on a paper, on a calendar, 5 things each day that you love about yourself, that you've accomplished, that you're grateful for. Celebrate you. Celebrate your growth. Maybe you have kids that have a hard personality and they're really hard. It's like, maybe taking 5 minutes in the day to have a calendar on the wall where you can say, what did you do today? What are you proud of yourself? And celebrate growth, because that is an eternal and infinite law of the universe. Growth is always inevitable. If we're not growing, then what the hell are we doing? Right? If we're not here to expand and to grow, what's the point of being here? The other thing I came across, I listened to this beautiful galactic shaman, and she did this beautiful womb healing. And I'm just looking up the note that she talked about. So this is all about growth as well. And the note that I took listening to her video was, is fear stopping you? Are you afraid of dying? If you die in fear, what's the point in living? If you aren't moving through fear, so I wrote, what the fuck are you even doing? Yeah. I mean, if we're not moving forward If we're not welcoming and celebrating growth, what are we doing here? What's the point of being here? It feels stuffy, it feels suffocated, it feels heavy. And for granted, those are times too that are very valuable for our soul. But in order for us to really take accountability and responsibility and make the very most of this human life, it is such a beautiful time to welcome and celebrate growth within our soul, within our body, within those around us, within relationships. Because we, at the end of our life, we are responsible for the life that we lived, regardless of what other people have done, regardless of how we were raised, how things showed up. When you cross over and you reach that rainbow bridge to reflect upon your life, you are solely responsible for the life that you lived. Nobody else. Like, mic drop right there. At the end of our life, do we want to look back at our life and think, I didn't even grow. I just kept myself stuffy? Or can we look back and say, yeah, I was not the perfect person, but I welcomed and I celebrated the growth that I felt inspired to each and every day? That is a soulful space of living. And look, my ankle is not even red anymore. It doesn't hurt. Wow. Such goodness, such good little nuggets of wisdom. And I just feel so grateful to be a channel and a message to spirit, to our angels, our ancestors. Thank you, thank you, thank you for these beautiful messages. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you. And part of that is also like, I just talked about, well, in my previous message, I talked about juniper. And a beautiful aspect as well is to offer gratitude. I'm going to light my juniper tree and just offer a beautiful sense of gratitude for all those messages. Thank you, thank you, thank you. We receive this message into our heart, into our mind, into our soul, into the generations, past, present, future. Please help us to know if there's any access points. Help us to feel connected to our soul's growth and to follow the sparks of joy that we feel called to do each and every day. Thank you, thank you, thank you. We are reclaiming and celebrating the growth within our soul, the growth within others, growth with the divine. And so it is. Thank you for tuning in to the Blessed by Angels podcast. It is such an honor to deliver these messages from beyond. If you want to connect deeper to your angelic realm and the support team that you have, I have a plethora of resources on my website at blessedbyangels.org. And of course, I'll leave the link in the show notes. You are connected to the divine. Having divine connection is an innate ability that each and every one of us have. Before we came here, we were spirit. And after we leave this realm, we are introduced back into the spirit world. So having spirit-to-spirit conversations and knowings and understandings are innately and infinitely who you truly are. When we step into this body, we tend to forget. We are not separated from the divine. There is just a lack of remembrance. Thank you so much for being a part of this podcast, and I look forward to delivering more messages from beyond.